Well, for our older teens and young adults, we make referrals to places like Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, specialized colleges like Wright State University. People can look at Notre Dame College of Ohio, or the Hiram G. Andrews Center, which is in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So we try to help people connect to services and supports that are there. The second thing we have are support groups across the state, concentrated in Western Pennsylvania. So we have things like teen support groups, adult social groups, and discussion groups. So through that, people get to share experiences and concerns and things like that about their jobs and their careers. There's a neat thing that also has happened through our adult groups is that some people with common interests got together and they do entrepreneurial pursuits like search engine optimization and website design, and they have a lot of fun with that as well. So that's been a nice, almost like think tank kind of thing that's happened for them. So the importance of those, I think I know it reduces isolation, which is an easy thing for people with autism to fall into. It's just sometimes simpler not to try to contend with social outings and the complexities of that, which are sort of difficult for some people. And also, by getting together, it reduces the feeling that if this is only happening to me, why me? And once you see anybody with any kind of difference that you're with, that you felt for so long was just involving you, it just helps you to have a better outlook, a more positive outlook, and have that kind of support. Really, all across the board, our parents, our teens, our young adults, our adults, creating lifelong friendships is just critical. And it's easy to fall away from that. If we take it for granted, probably those of us that go to school or work, that we just have those naturally through those kind of outlets. And for people that, for whatever reason, aren't currently in school or aren't currently working, they really have to make an effort to reach out. So we hope we provide that with our support groups. I think for an employer or a person offering an internship that wants to offer a person with autism some work, they are always welcome to call us, go on our website, and just discuss particulars about their job, their setting, that kind of thing. We really are a lifeline for people in terms of providing supports and referrals. So we can always give them literature. We've got a great collection. We've got 800 books in our lending library, and that's a free service. We mail those to people, and they send it back. So that's pretty unique, I think, in terms of it's really autism-centric and concentrated in that area. We do provide conferences and training to people anywhere from school districts to employers, and we're always happy to go out and train staff. In fact, we're training, for instance, a local company called Venture Outdoors. They provide outdoor experiences for people in general, and they wanted to increase our diversity focus and welcome people with differences and welcome people with autism. So we're going to go and train their staff so that they're going to feel really confident in when our families and adults go out and kayak and wall climb and that kind of stuff. Our people tend to have very highly developed skill areas, and part of this is because the brains in autism isn't always connecting within the department, so they don't multitask, which then leads to really high specializations. If you think about something just basically for a long time, for your lifetime, you can get really, really good at it. So once we plug in those abilities and those areas of interest into a job, it's just ideal. People with autism have slower processing, so when they're asked a question, they may take a little bit longer to answer it. So what we should know about that from our culture of being neurotypical is that we should just wait in silence and not re-ask the question and not get louder and repeat it. It just adds more confusion to their kind of brain system. So it helps if we understand that people are very intelligent but just can't multitask, so they're not going to be able to always think of the idea and find the word really fast and listen to the question. There are a lot of sensory differences in autism because the brain receives tons and tons of information. It's a very super sensitive brain, so things like lights, fluorescent lights, sounds, textures, odors, and all kinds of sensory things can really cloud a person's perception. So if we can kind of take all those down for them, for instance, if they came into our office, we have a lot of fluorescent lights, we might turn off half the bank of lights, have a meeting in a room near the window, and just leave the natural light to come in. For people that don't have autism, it'd be like being in a room with a strobe light sometimes, with fluorescents that flicker, because when the brain slows down the processing, it just perceives things that way. loud noises are difficult. I wouldn't have background music. I would think about things like fans on my computer blowing and things that will interfere with our communication.